All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Did a little warm-up screen that time. I've been wanting to do that because it's kind of awkward going live right off the bat and being like, "Hey, we're talking to
And
ourselves."
we're live.
So hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again for another recording of the podcast. We actually have quite a few things to talk about. So we're going to get going here in just a few minutes. For those of you watching on our YouTube and Twitch, do all the things, like the video. If you are on Twitch, be sure you're following us on our Twitch channel.
Yes, please.
And yeah, all that good stuff. So things we're going to be talking about tonight really quick, kind of a quick overview. We are going to be touching on the Jurassic World tribute store that we have all visited now. Some spooky stuff. We're actually going to be talking some what are you refusing, Mike? What are you refusing?
No, I mean it's we're going to talk some spooky stuff with Howl-O-Scream. 2 Howl-O-Screams. One Howl-O-Scream that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
they really hid this. I mean, we'll talk more about it in the podcast, but SeaWorld dropped a bomb on everybody.
Yeah, and I went back because I didn't go. We sent a good friend out to cover it for us. For those of you
the one time we didn't go.
Yeah. We all had to work, so I went back. Mike said I refused. Well, you know what? Shake fist. Oh, you already did. I love you, Mike. I miss you. We need to get together sometime. You and Dee Dee, Fast and Furious. Let's do it. You ain't going. I don't even have to worry about you. We'll talk about it more. That'll probably be the last thing we talk about is this Howl-O-Scream SeaWorld announcement, which, like Barry said, completely came out of nowhere. So we'll talk about that, and we'll touch on Boo Bash, which got some more details announced this week. Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna mute us again here and cue up the audio. And what are you talking about, Johnny? You guys know what? Everybody's confusing me in the chat tonight. What's going on? Everybody's being so
Hello,
obscure.
Lauren.
Hello, Lawrence Travel. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you guys dropping in. As always, before we get started here, for those of you watching the live stream, the main reason we do this live stream is to interact with you. So if we're talking about a certain topic, please comment, and we'll...
Especially if we're wrong, which we often are.
Which we are a lot. So please comment. I'm watching the comments. Barry's watching the comments. We love chatting with you guys periodically throughout the recording of the podcast. That's why we do these live streams is to chat with you guys and, have a conversation other than just, normally it's all three of us, Barry, Emily, and myself. But today it's just going to be Barry and I chit-chatting. So,
old school.
Yeah. Old school.
The way it all started.
Just Barry and I chit-chatting away. So give me a few seconds. I'm going to cue up the audio here, and we'll get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I'm Clint.
I'm Barry. I'm back. I was out last time.
Yeah, we missed you. You were not feeling well.
I was the sickest I have been in a few years. I was worried, even though I have had fully vaccinated thought for a minute that I might have caught COVID. But nope, turns out there apparently is an incredibly bad stomach virus going around because like my fever hit like 102 degrees and
yeah,
it was bad.
From what you were messaging Emily and it didn't sound fun at all.
No, it was not fun, and I had even though I could have done it, live from here, I had zero energy to come on a podcast.
I've had a cold this week. Lo and behold, I take my mask off because of all the, the mask mandate being lifted, particularly at Universal. And I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I've had this head cold all week. I'm like, I'm going to go back to wearing a mask.
Yeah, I mean, my sinuses. Everyone wants to hear about our problems. I mean, my sinuses have been acting up because of this weather right now. It's like one of my ears is stopped up, so it's like.
I think it's been so dry down here in Florida. Like we haven't had any rain,
and then all of a sudden it's humid again. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that has a big part to do with it. So, anyways, glad to have you back, Barry. We missed you.
Yeah, and then I'll be gone for another 4 weeks. So, but we'll talk about that later.
So, I'm gonna bring up our slideshow here, and for those of you watching on the live stream, as always, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to comment whatever we're talking about, whatever topic. Just let us know. Comment in the chat. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I mean. So what have you been, we're gonna do some quick little pop culture thing. Is there anything you've been watching lately? You saw Cruella, didn't you? I
did. I figured that could be the one thing that I could talk about because I actually really enjoyed it. And I think overall the overall reception of this movie has been fairly positive. From what I've been seeing on Twitter and stuff. I haven't seen too many people, compared to previous live action Disney movies, they usually get torn apart. I thoroughly enjoyed Cruella. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I don't know what I was expecting. I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it. Was I didn't go in expecting a whole lot, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is people always gave me like crap when I bought Mulan and we bought Raya. The only reason we haven't bought Cruella is because Sin's been out of town all for the last couple of weeks working on a movie in Sarasota doing hair and makeup, and so we haven't even had a chance to watch it, let alone to watch any the two movies that have come out on HBO Max since then. Was The Conjuring,
and then
that Angelina Jolie one. So it's like I haven't even had a time to watch free movies.
Mike reminded me in the chat, the Mitchells versus the Machines, the animated movie on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I've watched that with the kids. It's really good. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't had a chance yet.
If you have a couple hours to spare, it's a really good movie. It's another one of those movies where like technology and takes over, and it's a really, really good. I think it's from the team that did Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's Sony Animation.
Sony Animation. So it was really good. I sat down with the kids and watched it, but yeah, Mitchells and the Machines was really good, Mike. I do agree.
Yeah, I think Sony Animation made a deal with Netflix for 2 of their movies.
Yeah,
that are going to be coming to Netflix. I have been watching Star Wars: The Bad Batch. That has been so good so far. I mean, it may be out of the Star Wars animated series. I think this so far. I mean, we're 5-6 episodes in. This is already the best first season because that's been the one thing with I feel like all the Star Wars animated series is their first seasons are like the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
And with Bad Batch, it's been really good, and it's been really cool to see a time period we really haven't seen, which is like right when the Empire takes over. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing things change, very quickly. It's been really well done. And the animation, just like the final season of the Clone Wars, where the animation was like, about 3 or 4 steps above the rest of the series. This takes the animation even higher above the final season of the Clone Wars. So it was basically using the same style.
Now, is this a show? Is this a show that like somebody like me that hasn't, don't stop me into the ground. I haven't watched the Clone Wars, and I haven't watched what's the other big one?
Rebels.
I haven't watched Rebels. I've watched a few, or I started to watch Rebels. I haven't even touched Clone Wars. Is the Bad Batch something like somebody like me could watch? And
Yeah, Sin
it?
has not watched the Clone Wars. You know, I mean, she knows who Ahsoka is, you know, from the Clone Wars show.
Yeah.
Obviously. But no, she hasn't watched the Clone Wars and she's loving it. It lets you dive in because you know the Bad Batch showed up in like one or two episodes of the final season of the Clone Wars. So it's just, you know, you start right after, you know, Order 66, right when Order 66 comes down.
Okay. I was worried that it, like somebody like me that hasn't seen the Clone Wars or, you know, the other animated Star Wars shows, if I would be lost.
I think it's perfect. You know, and that's the hard thing with getting back into that stuff now. It's like trying to get. I've, you know, thought about getting her to watch Clone Wars, but it's just like, where do you start? Because the first season's not that great. And I think there's somewhere out there, there's a list of like the episodes you should watch of the Clone Wars if you've never watched, you know, the Clone Wars before. Same thing with Rebels. The first season of Rebels is not that great. The rest of the seasons of Rebels are like amazing, like some of the best Star Wars out there.
I've seen some like YouTube videos and stuff, and they're like, "Here, watch if you don't have time, like me, being a parent of 3 kids, if you don't have time to watch the Clone Wars, watch these episodes, and it'll give you a overall, you know, overview of the show, so to speak, so you don't have to go through and watch every episode." I've been, you know, with a few movies and stuff, you know, and Cheryl and I are still getting through Schitt's Creek too. I think we're on season 4. I am absolutely loving that show. I love that show. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's one of the best shows the last few years.
I don't want it to end. That's why we've slowly been taking our time. And given the episodes are only like 20-30 minutes each, it's like, you know, we're taking our time and we're savoring it. So speaking of streaming content,
Loki makes its debut on this coming Wednesday, and everybody make sure that Loki's going to be coming out on Wednesdays. It's something new where they're switching.
Fridays.
They're going to have Loki come out on Wednesdays, and then the rest of the content comes on Friday. Smart, especially with movie going started slowly returning back. You know, take it off Fridays. You know, I'm excited. It looks like we're getting, you know, some people have reviewed the first 2 episodes, and
I noticed reviews dropped today. Yeah,
the reaction has been like overwhelmingly positive. You know, it's definitely feels like it's sort of like an action comedy vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, obviously we're dealing with time travel, and we're dealing with a different Loki. This is not the Loki that was killed in Endgame. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Endgame by now, then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
God,
you know, God knows, because I probably watched it 50 times over the pandemic. Just to feel something.
In the first Avengers.
Yeah, this is the Loki that disappeared in Endgame with the Tesseract.
But it's Loki from the first Avengers.
Yeah, this is the Loki. This is the Loki who hasn't sort of redeemed himself yet.
Yeah, he's still the mischievous troublemaker. I mean, he is, you know, even up till he's pretty much dies. But you know, this is a different Loki than what we were used to when he dies. Later on in the MCU, but yeah, I haven't read up on this show. I haven't read up onto where it's going to go, what the plot rumors are. What do you think this show is going to be about? Like, what is the end result of this show? Like, it
introduces the Time Variance Authority from the Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
You know, and it introduces characters like Mobius, who's being played by Owen Wilson.
I heard from the few reviews that I saw, his character is phenomenal.
Yeah, and basically, you know, we sort of, you know, teased the multiverse in WandaVision. This series sort of sets up the rules of the multiverse.
Yeah,
and you know, this is what's all leading into, you know, Spider-Man: Far From Home, and then Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness.
Yep.
So it's you know, this has been really the big thing with Phase 4 is the multiverse and the fact that, you know, pretty much anything can happen. Also, this is another you know, thing, because they went back in time to get the stones. This is another reaction from what they did, you know, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Is there's a price that's going to be paid for what happened in Endgame. You know, the you mess with time,
and time messes back.
Time or some other power in the universe is going to mess with back. Same thing. You unleash massive cosmic energy on Earth 3 times.
Yep.
That's going to
there's
something.
Going to be consequences.
There's going to be consequences. It's possibly going to awake something in the galaxy that will now be paying attention to Earth that maybe not would have paid attention before. And you know, we dealt in same thing. You know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier dealt with the consequences of bringing everybody back.
Yep.
And what's happened to all these people who they had different lives after those 5 years. And then all of a sudden, they decided everyone gets to go back to where they were before.
Yeah.
You know, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier do it. So phase 4 so far seems to be dealing with a lot of the consequences of what happens. And I'm excited. I mean, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is been one of the best things about the MCU. So we get 6 episodes.
The fact that he's going to have his own show now is
of him amazing. Being the more mischievous Loki, and probably, and I imagine by the end of this show, this Loki will be a little bit different than he was at the start of the show. So
yeah. So I'm excited. You know, and obviously we'll be watching it. So you know, we'll periodically drop in on future podcast episodes and you know, discuss our feelings of it and what we think of the show so far. So moving on to theme park goodies, the Jurassic World tribute store officially opened a couple weeks ago at Universal Studios Florida, and it features several different rooms themed to Jurassic World. And Jurassic Park
Park.
Yeah. So Barry, what did you think of the tribute store as far as compared to other tribute stores, and what did you think?
I mean, obviously it's not going to be on the same level of a Halloween Horror Nights tribute store.
I had this argument with Michael, who you guys
really
and coming from him, it was a bias because he was like, "This is going to be the greatest tribute store ever," and I was like.
Really, outside of the Jurassic Park section of the store, the rest of the store really did nothing for me. I mean, really. I hate to be the devil's advocate one.
Yeah, no,
because number one, Jurassic World, the 2 movies, they don't have the same feel.
It's nostalgia, yeah,
as Jurassic Park does.
Yeah.
But this has been the problem with the entire Jurassic series, is nothing has come even close to the first movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Jurassic World was okay. Fallen Kingdom, for lack of a better term, was a POS. It's
a good thing we didn't have Michael on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody. It's just, I walked out of that movie and I was like, this is one of the dumbest movies I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bit about Jurassic World, but there was enough nostalgia in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, you know, the first movie is about sort of the hubris of man of bringing back dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it just, the Jurassic World, I mean, I know this is turning into a diatribe on Jurassic World, but it's just like they ran that park for 10 years perfectly fine. And then you're telling me when everything goes haywire, they just didn't have a plan for what to do with all the tourists, you know, just hang out in the shop area out in the open, exposed. They didn't have any
sort of evacuation plan.
They couldn't stay in all those hotels that apparently are on the island, you know. It's
but back on the tribute store, the tribute store features 3 themed rooms, and then the last one is kind of a 4th themed area. The first one, for those of you watching the live stream here, this is the first room that you walk into, which is themed after the Velocicoaster control center. Like, there's like all these like computer screens and stuff, and it almost looks like they took it right out of the Velocicoaster queue.
Yeah.
And then in the second room is a Velociraptor paddock area. And this picture, which was taken by our good friend Michael, who, for those of you have seen on previous last couple podcast episodes, actually, he's always there taking pictures, and he provided us these pictures of the raptor. Apparently, these raptor statues were used for the exhibition or whatever it was, the traveling Jurassic World thing. I don't. But this room's themed after a Velociraptor paddock.
Yeah.
And, they got the wires, it looks like you're basically in a raptor paddock. And this is the room where you can get the, I can't remember the candle company. But there's,
yeah, I know who you're talking about. But
I apologize. I don't have the name of the candle company right here in front of me, but they've teamed up with, Universal's teamed up with this candle company on previous tribute stores, and they did a lot for this Jurassic World tribute store, so you can get those in this room, and then there's some tropical themed Jurassic World merchandise, and then this room,
Magic Candle Company.
Magic Candle Company. Yes,
Lauren.
thank you. There you go. Thank you, Lawrence. And then the next room is Jurassic Park themed, but it's Jurassic Park in the Jurassic World movie, so everything's overgrown with vines, and
this room has a lot of movie used props in it.
Yes, this is the room that does feature several props from both. Well, there's some Jurassic World, or I think it's all Jurassic Park, because there's Jurassic Park 3 props like raptor eggs or something. And then there's a lot of, when you get into this room, take your time and really go around and look at everything, because not only are there a lot of screen used or screen replica props, there's also a lot of like Easter eggs. There's the little compy dinosaurs, the little ones that are like nasty, that really like, they're like meat eaters, but they're like tiny little things.
Yeah.
They're there. But I think we all agree that this was our favorite room just from the theming of it, and how cool everything looked in it with all the theming. I need to take a drink.
And then the final room has the Triceratops, which I think was it was the one that was used in one of the haunts, one of the HHN scare zones, but houses.
Yeah, it was back. I forgot what house it was, but it was used in one of the haunted houses. It was like, it looked like a gutted Triceratops.
Yeah,
and you could see its spine and stuff. It was really nasty.
But you just see the head
of it.
But this has the desserts. And someone said, "Will you be getting that chocolate egg?" Lauren, no, we will not be getting the chocolate egg, because from all reports, the chocolate egg, apparently as soon as you walk outside with said chocolate egg, it immediately starts melting.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, compared to some of the other tribute stores so far, at least based on like our friends' recommendations, there really hasn't been any of the desserts that anybody has like raved about.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody praise any of the desserts yet, but it's a lot of your basic. This is probably
very sugary.
This is probably one of, for those of you watching the live stream, it's the jar with the different layers of dirt. It looks like dirt almost. I think this is the most aesthetically pleasing thing you could get in the treat area. It looks cool. I don't know how it tastes. I think Emily had it, and she said
had it. And she said it was beyond sweet. That it was just it was too much.
Yeah. But that's it as far as the pictures we have of the tribute store. And I think it'll be here probably until the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store.
Yeah, I would think. I think through most of the summer till they have to switch them out and
starts to come up, because
it makes sense with Velocicoaster opening, and it gives something else it gives something in USF. Some Jurassic World thing in USF too for people to check out. While they're
This is the first tribute store we've gotten that's themed to a movie. So, it'll be interesting to see if, whatever else comes, if we get, how about a Fast and Furious tribute store, Universal?
There's an entire store already devoted to Fast and Furious that already barely sells the merchandise that's in it.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, no, this is the first tribute store themed to a Universal movie. So, that's cool in regards to that, because the only tribute stores we've had before are the Christmas, Mardi Gras, and obviously Halloween Horror Nights, which is what the tribute store started with.
It makes sense with Velocicoaster opening, and as we've seen, with the summer food and the Olympic food, they're trying something a little bit different this year, to bring some different stuff for summertime, because it's been a while since they've done anything extra for summertime. I feel like the last time they did was like, God, it was a while ago when they had some concerts like it during the summertime.
Yeah. So,
but you know, they're trying to give people extra stuff, especially as they come back, especially this summer, which we expect to be like crazy packed, especially starting in mid-June.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, moving on really quick. The last couple podcasts we have talked about, the mask mandates being dropped and changed and altered, and the positivity rate being under this percentage. And it's been a lot to keep up with it. But the latest news on the mask update, in particular actually only at Universal. Disney, I know Disney tweaked something in their mask policy.
You outdoor theaters, you do not have to wear a mask now.
Yeah.
So something like the bird show at Animal Kingdom, you don't have to wear a mask. It's only in indoor theaters.
But over at Universal, if you were fully vaccinated, you can just leave your mask at home. Because Universal made the announcement that if you're fully vaccinated, again, they're not requiring vaccination cards. They're not requiring you to show your vaccination, information. Mm-hmm. This is basically the Scouts honor system of, you're
because
fully
it's
vaccinated.
Florida.
Yeah, because welcome to Florida. Not to get too political about it, but so anyways, long story short, Universal made the announcement that masks are no longer required if you are fully vaccinated. I've seen, still not a lot. I was going to say a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I've still seen a decent amount of people still masking up. I don't know about you, Barry. I don't know if you've
I mean, we were there. We were there, and I feel like, we were all there, you, myself, and Emily. And, in some situations, I felt like we needed to put a mask on, and then some we didn't. I think it's all about the situation that you're in. It's like, we're all, all three of us are fully vaccinated. And
Mike said really quick too, cast members, I believe some cast members outdoors can take their mask off
Disney,
as long as they're within, I don't know if it's a certain distance, but they have to be a certain distance away from guests.
Yeah.
And outdoors.
I've seen like the parking attendants.
That's probably, Mike says 6 feet. So, I would imagine the parking attendant, people that are out in the middle of nowhere, I would imagine that they don't need a mask. So that was one thing that,
this is inevitable. I mean, really, I think, and then more of the science has come out when it comes to outdoors, and also when it comes to being vaccinated. Obviously, it's the honor system. From what we've heard out in California, it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be the honor system. So it's just, we're getting used to it. I wish, some people, I feel like for the most part, some people in the queues are staying a distance, and some people don't, and then I feel like you just sort of look at them, and then some people will often back up. It is weird. We went and saw the Bourne Stuntacular. That did not feel good as we were all loading into the theater.
Yeah, we went and saw Fast and Furious. The Bourne Stuntacular that day, and that was back to normal.
They aren't specifically telling you to leave, a seat in between your group, but it felt like most people were automatically doing that anyway. Yeah, and I would do it anyway because it's like, I don't want you sitting on it. I as far as I'm concerned, it's like, I don't want someone sitting on top of me, and I don't want someone too damn close to me anymore. It's just,
I think the social distancing thing is the one thing that I want to stick around. The masks, whatever. If you're fully vaccinated, you don't want to wear a mask, great. If you're fully vaccinated and you do want to wear a mask, great. But just stay away from me.
No, I mean, and it's going to be interesting to see, not to go off on the Horror Nights thing, but how Horror Nights is going to be run, because all the queues are for the most part outdoors. However, those tents, the houses, though, it's a little bit more, we'll be able to see, I think, more of what the scare actors will be doing. Will they be wearing masks? Mm-hmm. Because they're going to be exposed a little bit more than other people are. And and you can still test positive for COVID with the vaccine. So it's I've known people who have tested positive with COVID since getting the vaccine, and because of the way things are, they still have to go stay home from work for a week. Even if they're not showing symptoms, just because that's the way it is now. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting operationally for Halloween Horror Nights and what they do, because the cast is in there for approximately an hour, with people
walking by them every
few
seconds.
So it'll be interesting to see how that gets handled, whether they just go with mass, and make like they did before last year. So
yeah, it's been interesting, all the conversations we've had on this podcast of, you, myself, we've all been saying, masks are going to be going, through the end of this year. And here we are, the beginning of June, and, the mask mandate has been dropped, but it was dropped for Orange County because we reached the whole, what was it, positivity rate under 5% for 2 weeks or whatever it was, at a 2-week rolling time frame, and here we are, the beginning of June, and things are just.
But it'll be interesting to see what they do, because it's like if you're vaccinated, maybe you don't have to wear it. And as an employer, they are allowed to ask.
Yep.
If you're vaccinated, it's like my job, basically, if you to make it so you don't have to wear a mask when we go into the office. You had to go online and click a thing saying you were given the information that you've been vaccinated. So employers to have the option, Universal and everyone else will have the option to ask, if their cast or team members are vaccinated, and I think we've already seen some places if the employees are vaccinated, then they don't have to wear masks anymore. So.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on it, and obviously bring you guys any of the latest updates as far as masks go. But yeah, things are changing, weekly with this mask stuff. So, all right, moving on. Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure had its grand opening a few days ago, and Disney kept it somewhat simple and small. And some celebrities showed up. You had obviously Josh D'Amaro showed up. Chapek showed up. And Kevin Feige, Paul Rudd, and Jon Favreau showed up. And of course, the one thing that was really cool and probably the highlight of the grand opening ceremony was Anthony Mackie showing up. And not just showing up for the grand opening, he showed up to kind of be part of the announcement that his Captain America is going to be part of Avengers Campus. I've been seeing a lot of video from people that have been there over the weekend. He comes out, the actor Captain America, and people start cheering, and it's been such an awesome thing to see. And then obviously during the grand opening ceremony, Anthony Mackie came out with the Captain America shield in the little carrying bag that I think it looked like the one that Robert Downey Jr. had several times, and he handed.
It looked like the one from the show, and the one that
the one that he was sitting at the bench.
I mean, it's probably a replica, but it's still, it was cool, nice little touch.
Moment. Yeah, it was a cool little moment. And then obviously with everything that opens up at Disney, fireworks set off, and that was it with the grand opening of Avengers Campus. So we're gonna have more about Avengers Campus. I'm going to work with a few people and probably do some people that have been on it over there on the West Coast, and do kind of an Avengers Campus episode. Maybe Ryan, and maybe have somebody else on, and we can.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like we feel like unlike some people, we don't want to armchair. Everything we see. I mean, I will say the most impressive thing to me is the Spider-Man flying animatronic, because it looks like a human being.
That came out really cool, especially at night. It looks really cool at night. It's cool during the day, but when they have I don't know what kind of lights they have shining on it, it looks really cool at night. I mean, and I feel like the whole place, like most theme parks, unfortunately, it looks better at night. Like the Sanctum looks way better at night. Than it does during the day. I heard people cook on that thing during the day, because the ride is like that deep. I forgot what color it is, but it's like a dark color, like a purple or a blue or something like that. And people were like apparently like baking on it. I was like, oh great!
Yeah.
It's Toy Story Land all over again.
I think the animatronic, the amount of character. Spider-Man has a little show, and Black Widow, Black Panther have a little thing. Which, hey, gosh, wasn't that type of stuff supposed to be in Galaxy's Edge? Yeah. So it's like
it's really cool what they've done with Avengers Campus versus what you just said with Galaxy's Edge. We had we had all these expectations. We had all these, concept.
All this infrastructure in it.
They built all this, well, not only like physical things. They built up all this emotion of all these droids walking around, and it obviously was never
battles
delivered.
were supposed to break out at any moment.
Yeah, we were there for the media event, and that lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo Ren was unbelievable. It blew up on our Twitter. It blew up on our YouTube.
I mean, and hey guys, from everything I've heard, that wasn't originally just supposed to be for media events.
Yeah.
It's like
the other thing that's really cool about Avengers Campus is that they kind of did away with the whole specific time in Star Wars history, but Marvel, they don't really have a specific agenda. Timeline agenda with Avengers Campus. So they're a little bit more loosey-goosey with playing, with who they can have in there without, interrupting.
I feel like the only weird thing is seeing the Steven Rogers Captain America.
That was kind of weird.
And,
I have to admit.
And it doesn't help that at least the cast members that I've seen who have been playing him look more like the Captain America from the TV show than they do look like Steve Rogers. So
that was the only thing that was kind of weird to me, is that they have both Captain Americas there. So I was like, that's kind of weird. I mean, given I'd much rather have Anthony Mackie's there. But that was probably one of the weird things. But all the characters, Spider-Man, Black Widow, the Taskmaster, obviously coming from Black Widow, he makes some appearances. And they said they're going to change, as the MCU. I think I think it was Feige. I think he said that, as the MCU progresses, you're going to see characters from up and coming shows in Avengers Campus. So
I mean, and I hope they keep some of this stuff. We always joked, it's like, oh well, they started with all this entertainment, and then 6 months later, how long does it last? And I'm wondering, how much do they have to pay Sony for Spider-Man?
There was a Mike says, isn't it their own universe though? I heard something about the story behind Avengers Campus. It's not the regular MCU. It's like their own little thing or something. Yeah,
because I mean, there's going to be Hong Kong one and California, and then Paris. So it's I mean, there's already 2 MCU attractions at Hong Kong. And Paris is currently building converting their rock and roller coaster, and then also I believe adding the Spider-Man ride. All
right, moving on really quick.
Boo
Bash. We got some more details, not that they were exciting, but we got some more details about Disney's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween replacement this year.
I don't even think you can really call it a replacement anymore. It's an after hours event, and I think that's the thing that's just really like struck a negative chord, is just it's an after hours event. I think also the fact that it's offering things that we got with park admission last year, so that's sort of like, I think that to me is the one thing that's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way.
We got cavalcades will be returning, including Mickey's Happy Halloween Cavalcade. It'll feature Mickey Mouse and friends. And then there's going to be a Villains Cavalcade with and then another one called Jack's Nightmare Cavalcade from Nightmare Before Christmas. It'll have all the Nightmare Before Christmas characters.
Yeah, we had that last year.
Miss Carlotta from the Haunted Mansion will be there. Cadaver Dan's. I
feel like if they had brought back the Hocus Pocus show, or even done the villain show, I feel like maybe people would not have gotten as negative a response.
I
mean, it's trick or treating is going to be there. It's only 3 hours. I will be interested in, will they keep the attendance where they keep it about for most after hours event? It's a little bit more expensive than the Villains one was. Obviously, the price goes up by each month.
Tickets
cheaper.
Start at $129 to $139 for August, September. $159 to $169 for October nights. And then if you want to go on Halloween night, October 31st, Boo Bash is going to cost you $199 per person.
I think that's the thing that really just shocked people.
Annual pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members can take advantage of a $10 discount.
But only in
August and September.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's you know, unfortunately, people are going to pay that price. The irony, though, is like, you know, the trick or treating. It's like, if you've been to most Not So Scaries, by 10 o'clock, a lot of those kids are like fading.
Yeah.
You know, this thing's going to be either 9 to midnight or 9:30 to 12:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they would have, I feel like if they would have tacked one more hour onto it, I think people might have not as freaked as much about the prices.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, I mean, for Not So Scary too, you technically got 8 hours in the park.
Yeah.
You know, this one you basically get what 5 hours in the park, because you can come in, I believe, starting at 7.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, it's going to do well.
It is. People are going to buy it. It's going
to, but it's. I don't think I cannot justify paying money for a bunch of stuff we saw last year.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is. So
we'll see what happens next year. You know, there were some people discussing that this is going to be the new permanent replacement. I don't see this being permanent.
No.
I see Mickey's Not So Scary coming back next year. It was really interesting that Disney, I was shocked when they initially announced it. I was like, why are they not doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party? Things are looking better, you know, with COVID and vaccines. And I guess they already had this lined up, ready to go.
I will say that Mike pointed out something about the price of concerts. I will definitely attribute to that is concert prices have gone up dramatically. And obviously I think a lot of that has to do with probably extra protocols and stuff. And probably the price of insurance has gone through the roof too. But yeah, I mean, it like I said, it is what it is. It's an after hours event. It's priced. Obviously, I think Halloween night is the one where everyone's like, sort of like, oh my God, that's nuts. But it's, you know, it is what it is. It's, you know, I expect Not So Scary will be back next year. It makes way too much money. And like I said, if Boo Bash is like every other after hours event, they're going to limit the amount of attendance, and it's not that high.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on. Let's talk about some exciting, real spooky news. First, real quick, Howl-O-Scream is coming back to Busch Gardens this year. They announced a few details, not really specifics yet about the houses or anything. Just that they will, the haunted houses will be returning, because last year they did Howl-O-Scream, but it was kind of like a modified version where they had like these walk-through scare zones. There were like, what was it, like 2 or 3 walk-through scare zones? 2 walk-through scare zones on top of all the other scare zones, roaming hordes, and then they did fiends outside. But they announced
it was fun.
It was a good time. We went down there for the media preview and got to check it out. It was a good time. You know, it was good to see Busch Gardens, you know, at that point, we were so thirsty for something scary.
Yeah.
So like the fact that they did this with, you know, the scare zones and the Fiends show and the 2 scare zones that had like a walkthrough thing, they were almost like a house. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and the irony is they're going to keep Fiends out at the festival field stage.
I think it worked. I think it worked better.
And
being outdoors.
It was definitely the best Fiends show in a long time. I mean, I think we were almost shocked by how because the last couple of years have been pretty bad. And then the Rolling Bones show, which they didn't really advertise, I think, that show last year.
Yeah.
That will be performing over in Dragonfire Grill. There will be 2 new houses out of the 5 houses. You know, and then the scare zones return and the roaming hordes return. I mean, that to me is always, their scare zones and their hordes have always been the thing. That's the one thing that gets me every time I go to Howl-O-Scream is there's always someone who you know, pops out of the bushes out of nowhere and gets me. So
Yeah, the scare actors, I think they allow a little more creativity done at Busch Gardens with their scare actors versus like Universal or something.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're not working with IP and stuff,
Yeah.
and they have.
But you know, I've gotten legit like jump scared a few times out, and there's some of their scare zones, and it gets dark. Like there are some areas in Busch Gardens where it is like pitch black. And some of these scare actors and some of the scare zones get really, 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 really creative. And they'll like literally like be laying in the bushes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So anyways, moving on, kind of on the same topic. And probably the biggest news of the week.
The biggest shock in a long time, too.
SeaWorld Orlando will be getting Howl-O-Scream. We got in as well, you know, along with several other media outlets, got invited to a media event on Friday. It was Friday, right? Yeah.
A media event for Electric Ocean.
It was, I got the press release, or not the press release, but I got the media invite, and it mentioned nothing about Howl-O-Scream, nothing about them announcing a Halloween event, nothing. So, you know, obviously I said we sent a good friend out to cover for it, and he was sending me pictures and video of the event. And, you know, it started off like a regular. I went back and watched some of the video footage from other media outlets and ours. You know, and it started off like an Electric Ocean media event. You know, they were talking about, you know, things coming up this summer about the Brew Fest. This lady was up on stage, and then all of a sudden, like, the lights went out, and like these scare actors ran up on stage and like grabbed her and dragged her off stage, and the lighting completely changed, and like all these dancing like scare actor people came out and broke into dance. And there was like a little vocal segment. I didn't get to watch it of, you know, basically some creepy girl character coming out and basically saying that Howl-O-Scream is coming to SeaWorld Orlando in a nutshell. So it completely caught everybody off guard on Friday. Twitter absolutely blew up about it. I was, you know, because everybody knows I'm obsessed with, you know, Halloween events, and I was getting all sorts of messages and everything. And, you know, hey, did you hear about Howl-O-Scream coming to SeaWorld? I was like, yes. I was like, we were there for the announcement.
I mean, it's exciting. You know, not a lot of details. There will be houses. There will be scare zones. There will be roaming hordes. You know, the interesting thing is, you know, there will be two shows. One will be an outdoor show, which we'll assume is going to be in Bayside Stadium. And then the other one will be an indoor show, which I'm going to assume is going to be in the Nautilus Theater. You know, and they, you know, they'll be just like, you know, Busch Gardens has, there'll be DJs in a couple of different spots. You know, and there'll even be apparently some interactive, experiences at some of the bars.
Yeah, there were a lot of people excited about that. Interactive elements to bars. Yeah,
you know, so it's. I'm going to be interested to see how they do this. How many houses there end up being, because I'm trying to figure out even where they're going to put the houses in this place.
I was trying to brainstorm, and there's a lot of,
I mean, you're going to enter Howl-O-Scream up, and there Clint disappeared for a second.
I did.
Yep, you just disappeared for it. There you go. Because apparently you're going to enter Howl-O-Scream through the far right side, which is usually where, like, you know, when school kids come, you know, it's the entrance that goes to all the big outdoor picnic
pavilions. Yeah.
Which, I mean, part of me was like, well, maybe they'll do some of the houses there, but I'm like, also, are they going to want to tie up those picnic pavilions? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they're going to do the houses, because the other thing is, like, a lot of the backstage areas at SeaWorld are very sensitive, because it's got a lot of the, you know, the areas and equipment that run, you know, all the filtration. They don't have a lot of space in their backstage areas at SeaWorld. So it'll be interesting to see where they put these houses, how many there are. You know,
Jay's got a question here for us really quick. He says, I'm traveling to Orlando from out of town during HHN. Want to maximize HHN 3 to 5. Would you recommend giving up an HHN night to try Howl-O-Scream at SeaWorld? Jay, I would wait and see how the event turns out, to be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna know. We're gonna know pretty quickly.
Follow us here at ThrillGeek. You know, we're obviously going to be updating, you know, as construction starts, and we'll probably be there for the grand opening of this. So I would just wait and see how the event turns out. If not, I would definitely, spend all the nights at Halloween Horror Nights. But who knows? I'm not expecting a massive event, but just the fact that we're getting another haunted attraction here in Orlando, and I love Howl-O-Scream, and it's for completely different reasons why I love Halloween Horror Nights.
It's a completely different experience than Halloween Horror Nights. Like you said, if they do what Busch Gardens Tampa does, where they can concentrate a little bit harder on the scares. It is as far as, are they doing a multi-night pass? We have not seen one yet for Howl-O-Scream at SeaWorld.
They announced a 2-day or a 2 Howl-O-Scream ticket. You can buy a ticket for Howl-O-Scream at Tampa and Orlando, right?
Yeah, I mean Tampa has a multi-night pass.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right now there isn't one for SeaWorld. The prices are pretty low right now for, I mean there's nights where it's, it's as low as $29.99 regular,
like $30. Yeah,
$30. And I think if you have a pass, aren't there some nights that are as low as like 20 or something? I
haven't looked, as I'm a pass holder. I should get on there and look and see what the prices are.
But the prices are the advanced ticket prices, I should say, are pretty reasonable for Howl-O-Scream. And the other thing we didn't talk, you're going to get the coasters at night, and the way they said word in the press release, it sounds like they might turn off the lights too on
I hope so
on the coasters.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like we talked about Busch Gardens, like there's a lot of part of SeaWorld that gets pretty dark at night.
Yeah.
So
it's just like Busch Gardens, just like I said about Busch, there's areas of SeaWorld that, if you've been at SeaWorld that night for, any of their nighttime events like Electric Ocean or anything, unless there's like a lot of spotlights and a lot of dance lights and stuff, it gets dark in that park. So I think they could really play with that and have some fun with it.
I imagine they're not going to use the entire park. They'll probably close off that area where the dolphins and the turtles are.
They're going to have Sesame on Elm Street.
Yeah. I don't think it's like I think Sesame Street might be closed, but they're going to have to probably leave it open for people to walk through.
Speaking of family-friendly stuff, they are, for those of you wondering, they are still going to be doing the Spooktacular for the little ones during the day on the weekends. So they're not completely giving up the Spooktacular, the trick-or-treating and the family-friendly Halloween event. They are just adding Howl-O-Scream on top of that, which is
and their family-friendly event has always been one of their highlights, especially since they introduced the Sesame Street Halloween Parade, which we assume will return this year. And just, for trick-or-treating, it's you can walk if you do, know how to do your thing there. You can walk out there with a lot of bags of candy.
Again, you're coming from a dad with 3 kids. We leave there packed with candy.
And they have their own unique characters. So it's always been a fun thing. And it'll
Sam says Sesame Street scares them or riot.
Yeah, I don't know if the children's workshop will allow that. It's another haunt event, another big haunt event. We really are spoiled rotten here so much. Between Halloween Horror Nights, now we have 2 Howl-O-Screams. Plus all the family friendly stuff. Plus Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. And so Central Florida is one of the biggest areas in the country and almost in the world when it comes to Halloween events. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty sure you're excited. Emily's excited. The entire, HHN, theme park community was beyond excited about this.
We are going to have a very busy September 3rd through September 11th, because it's like we're probably going, if we do what we normally do, we're probably going to end up at like opening night of Howl-O-Scream in SeaWorld, and then the next night we're probably going to end up at Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
If we get to do what we normally get to do and are invited by the park. So it's going to be that is going to be a crazy 7 8 days of the beginning of September there. So
Yeah, I'm excited. So, Howl-O-Scream coming to SeaWorld Orlando. Finally, before we get on out of here, like Barry said at the beginning, he's going to be back, but he's going to be leaving here in what, a week?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
weeks?
Next weekend we will be at Central Florida Comic-Con. Because we will have a table there for first time at a convention. We will have a table. They were the first convention where we did a panel. We're not doing a panel this year, but we're going to have a table, and all three of us will be there to say hi to everybody and hopefully connect with a lot of people who maybe normally don't check us out. And but if you're at Central Florida Comic-Con, please come by and say hi.
Yeah, we'll be there with a table. I figured it'd just be a good way. We're not going to be selling anything, or I figured this would be a good way for us to network with the kind of the nerdy pop culture community. Since we're always out at the parks, but we do right before COVID hit. I wanted to start kind of doing more coverage of conventions, MegaCon, Comic-Cons.
We had started doing more coverage.
We had started, yeah. Like Barry said, we did the Wizarding World of Harry Potter panel with Meg and her friend Daniel. And it was we were starting to dabble in these pop culture pop culture conventions more, and then COVID hit, and obviously all that stuff came to a screeching halt. So, the folks down at Central Florida Comic-Con, they were nice enough to give us a free table. So we're going to be down there hanging out. I think we're going to put together some swag to give away maybe. And we'll be down there hanging out. Okay, so if you're there, if you're going to go, be sure to swing by and say hi and, just hang out for a few minutes. So,
and I'm definitely excited we'll be bringing you more con coverage throughout the year. And maybe we've submitted to some other cons. So fingers crossed, we may have a table. We may have a panel, hopefully, we'll see. Another con. We'll see.
It'll be good to get back to some of these conventions and stuff. So all right, back to your trip. Tell people, kind of everybody, really quick, where you're going to be going here over the next couple weeks.
ThrillGeek is heading to Pennsylvania, as myself and Sin will be heading to Pennsylvania, kicking off June 19th, and we will be going to Kennywood, Hershey Park, Dutch Wonderland, Dorney Park, Sesame Place, Knoebels. And we might squeeze in a couple of the other smaller parks in that state too over the course of weeks. So ThrillGeek will be bringing you coverage from all those parks. I know we mostly, do Universal and stuff, but when we do travel, we like to bring you coverage from all the different parks around the country and around the world. So be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's where we'll be posting all kinds of stuff. And then the YouTube channel, we will be doing some vlogs too. That'll come out over the couple of weeks after we do this trip so you guys can get a taste of some of the other parks in the country. And Hershey Park is one of the premier regional theme parks in the country.
I'm excited for that park for you guys.
Kennywood is one of the
amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait. Kennywood is one of the most important historical amusement parks in the country.
Yeah.
Dorney Park's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Dorney Park. Never been to Dutch Wonderland, so that's gonna be exciting. We're gonna stop by Sesame Place, and Knoebels is one of the coolest amusement parks in the country. It's really unlike any other place, and they have some of the most unique coasters and attractions of any park in the country. So
it's just a fun amusement park. Knoebels,
and maybe we'll be able to squeeze in Lakemont Park, which has, of course, the oldest roller coaster in the world, and then maybe we might go all the way up to Erie, Pennsylvania, and squeeze in Waldemere, because I've been wanting to ride Ravine Flyer 2 for years. So
it's not Knoebels. I forgot Meg said it's Nobles.
No, it's Knoebels. I have never heard anybody call it Knoebels. So.
I've never heard anybody call it Nobles.
Yeah, we're so excited, to finally go on a trip and bring you guys coverage from all these parks.
All right, I think that's it as far as everything I have. Anything else, Barry, you wanted to touch on? Any last minute comments, complaints, concerns?
No, I'm just excited to go on an actual vacation.
I know.
And it had to go big too. You know, we're going to be gone for 9 days, so
Yeah.
it's like,
so we'll figure out. I think that might be the week that I do the Avengers Campus podcast.
yeah,
because you're gonna miss. Are you gonna miss one episode or two?
just
episodes?
one.
Just one. So that'll probably be the week that I put together something for Avengers Campus. Have people on that have been there and get some people's opinions on it and stuff and that sort of thing. So. That'll probably be the filler episode that I do for that. And other than that, we are going to be sticking on the bi-weekly schedule. So you'll probably see from Barry here in a month.
Yeah,
or hear from Barry, I should say, in a month.
It'll be 4 weeks. And like we said, we'll see towards the end of the July. You know, we may start going a little. Go back to weekly for as we lead into Halloween.
Yeah, the HHN community has been chomping at the bit for an announcement. But obviously with Velocicoaster, that's been, if you go back to Volcano Bay time frame, the year Volcano Bay opened was about this time frame.
Yeah,
it was late May, early June. And it's almost following the same time frame for HHN announcements. I don't think we're, as soon as June 10th is over and Velocicoaster has had its moment in the sun and has shined, I think that's when we're going to start getting back into the HHN announcement spree. So
look at Ryan throwing shade.
What'd he say? Barry was here for a week and now he's piecing out again for a month. Yeah. So
the only thing I do is the podcast, dude. Okay.
you're on the spotlight, Ryan. You're gonna be like I said, Avengers campusing it up here. So be ready for my text message or my phone call. So
it's like I went in that nasty weather yesterday and shot a vlog. So
yeah,
it was gross.
Yeah, we have gotten back into, we're starting to get into our rainy season here. So like I said, we need it here. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I think that's it. Barry, get us on out of here. Tell everybody where they can find ThrillGeek.
We are at ThrillGeek on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/ThrillGeek. Please like and follow our Facebook page, YouTube.com/ThrillGeek. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of new videos up there, including the Howl-O-Scream announcement, and then a couple of newer vlogs. From
the tribute store walkthrough up there.
Tribute store. We did. I did. Checked out some of the food at the Summer Olympics. We've got the Summer Olympics celebration pre-show up there. So like we said, all new videos every week on YouTube.com/ThrillGeek, ThrillGeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And thank you everyone for clicking on the website because it has been doing better, like the best it's done in a while lately. So thank you for visiting ThrillGeek.com.
I can say May has been our busiest traffic website for the website, because I haven't mentioned her a whole lot. We got Katie now. She's been doing some Wizarding World. She was at the Wizarding World, the New York City store, and she did some stuff for us for that. And then she's done some other articles basically focused on Harry Potter, Wizarding World. And they've all done great on the website. I may have her on the podcast. I have so many podcast ideas that I want to do.
We have a list of guests that we're trying to figure out when we will squeeze them in. So that might be a reason why we go back to weekly for a little bit, because we do have a few people we need to have on.
Yeah. But anyways, no, I could say that May was probably our biggest, on the website traffic wise in a while, because we went through COVID and there wasn't a lot going on. So thank you everybody for continuing to support the website, the YouTube channel, everything. It helps us out.
Please watch the YouTube channel.
Please watch our videos.
And remember, you're listening to the Thrill Geek Podcast. Wherever you can get a podcast, you can get the Thrill Geek Podcast.
Yes, you can. And as always, the live stream, thank you everybody for watching in the live streams on YouTube and Twitch. If you are watching on Twitch, be sure you're following us. I've always been on or off with the Twitch thing, but I need to stick with it. So if you're following us on Twitch, we greatly appreciate that. And even more so on YouTube, because that's where we want to focus on our content is on YouTube and Twitch, and all that good stuff. So
and hopefully, and I know we've talked about, we might pop up here or there on Twitch and YouTube, during the week, just Just cause.
Yeah, I have been trying to brainstorm. I know I did a random live stream back when some news was breaking or something like that, and people enjoyed those things. So I'm going to try and get into doing more of those things. So Twitch has somewhat of a constant, at least a couple live streams up there a week. So anyways.
Yeah, and part of my work schedule is changing, thank God, for at least for a little while. So maybe we'll get some more live streams from the parks during the week. So
yeah. So anyways, guys, once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching to the live stream. We always appreciate you guys. If you're watching the live stream, hang out for a few minutes. We'll chat with you guys after the recording's done here. So anyways, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Stay safe, and we'll see you in the parks. Bye.
All right. All that business stuff is done. No, thanks, guys, for hanging out in the live chat. We always appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes,
we love you
so much.
So what's going on, everybody? Let's chit chat. We got a few minutes here. Our business is over. What's new? What's going on in the chat? Let us know. What's everybody up to on this Sunday evening?
One more week of working nights, and then I will at least be working days, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So at least into August.
Back to a regular schedule.
Yeah, it would be nice. If fingers crossed. I'm not hoping for anything after August, but we will see. I was at Hollywood Studios yesterday, and it was a day where the park was completely out of reservations, but it wasn't that busy. We've talked about this before. Disney still seems to be sort of limiting attendance, I think more because of staffing than anything else. They don't have the staff, and they're slowly hiring people. But and originally it was just part-time. Now that they've been posting full-time positions.
Yeah.
So they need people, and I mean, I'm sure your wife works there, but we know multiple people work there who've been working 6 days a week for months.
Yeah. And it's really hard for cast members and obviously spouses to get into the parks. I've been having a hard time trying to get.
It's hard for
it's been hard for anybody.
Yeah. So it's
Felipe says, I'm waiting for them to start selling annual passes again. Yeah, I don't know when they're going to start selling the.
As much of a pain as the reservation system has been, I am so glad I did not give up my pass. Obviously, doing what we do, couldn't really give up my pass. So, it's. I gave up my SeaWorld pass for the time being.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we were contemplating. I don't know if I ever brought it up to Cheryl, but I was contemplating, giving up our SeaWorld passes and doing something like Legoland with the kids for a couple of years. But now that they're getting Howl-O-Scream, I'm like, shoot, I can't give up my I can't give up my pass now.
It's easier to bring them a little bit more, I guess, during the summertime because you can bring them during the week.
Yeah.
And it's just weekends there, they are just so slammed.
Yeah.
At SeaWorld. So it's like it's either, unless you get there first thing in the morning or you go like the last like two or 3 hours, it's a pain just to get into the park.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of SeaWorld. I mean, they did some reorganization of their entrance with the security. And then, they added the temperature check on top of that, and it kind of threw things off whack. It kind of put them back to where they were before they did the enhancements. So it was like, but now that I haven't been back to SeaWorld. Oh, gosh, when was the last time I was at SeaWorld? It doesn't make us look good, but there just hasn't been a whole lot going on for us to go out there and cover, and Gosh, I can't remember the last time I was at SeaWorld. But now, I think we're going to try and make it out to Electric Ocean. Electric Ocean is always a blast.
Yeah.
The kids absolutely love Electric Ocean. And now that we're down one kid and we're down to two, it'll be it'll be a little more manageable. Given Jordan is the easiest kid. We still have Charlotte and Connor, but I think we'll definitely get out to Electric Ocean maybe a few times with the kids. And
does it Connor? And isn't Connor has always been the problem child when it comes to theme parks, but doesn't he? He seems to like SeaWorld a little bit better.
He loves SeaWorld. He loves that park. He loves the animals. He loves Shamu. He loves everything about SeaWorld. So. It'll be good to get him back there, see the what is it called now? The killer whale experience or the orca experience or whatever it is now.
I still haven't even seen it. And I guess they redid the dolphin show again too.
Yeah, Ryan, so you can come and make 3 kids again. No, please stay away. I love you, but no. No, it'll be fun.
Just so everyone knows, we are trying to find another West Coast correspondent.
Yeah. We love you, Ryan. We love you, Ryan. Next time, bring a bigger battery pack to Avengers Campus. Oh, gosh. Ryan. But yeah, we will definitely have you on, Ryan. And excuse me. I'm going to try and get a third person on so we can have a little more of a conversation about Avengers Campus. So I'm going to see if you know somebody, let me know. And we could chat about Avengers Campus and the food, the ride, and yeah.
Maybe we can find a female to bring on the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to remember
the last time you and I did this without Emily. It's been a while.
Yeah, she's been a regular, and I think we agreed to have her on as a regular. But she wanted to go out tonight with her friends and have fun, and so
yes.
I can't say no. So that's why I told her to go have fun. So it is what it is. We handled it like big boys. We managed.
We did this for how many episodes?
160, 170 episodes in. I think we can manage one episode. Yes, so
yeah. Just don't go back and listen to the first 50.
Yeah, those are really. I go back every now and then. And I listen to how awful we were.
I can't listen to it. It's just
we're still awful now. We've gotten progressively a little bit better at this whole.
Yeah, I know. We keep teasing that we're going to be back in the same thing, and he was like, "Were you going to come over tonight?" And I was like, "No."
I texted
maybe the next when I'm back, maybe I'll finally.
That would honestly.
It's a little bit of a longer drive now to go to your place. If it's not 10 minutes anymore. So,
that would honestly be a good one to come over for is when you come back from your trip. So,
yeah, we will have a lot to talk about, and hopefully maybe an announcement by then too.
We can shoot for that. So, but yeah, we got that coming up. You're going to be out there for that. And as soon as Velocicoaster opens, it's going to be, I have a feeling it's going to start to crank up here as far as I don't know if Johnny's still in the chat.
No,
Johnny.
They technically have 8 more houses to announce.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a go thing. So we'll see how it goes, and obviously the spooky season is our time to shine. So as always, be sure to follow ThrillGeek for all the goodies this spooky season. It's going to be, like you were saying, it's going to be really interesting to see how we, if you and Emily, and we buy, if they do like a Howl-O-Scream SeaWorld pass, how we're going to balance, going to that maybe, 1 or 2 nights and, doing horror nights.
We'll probably go one night. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it's, we are at Halloween Horror Nights. At least one of us is at there almost every night, except for most of the Saturdays.
We didn't mention our HHN guy during the podcast. Son of a gun.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, hey, for those of you watching the live stream, It absolutely.
Would you like to edit this into it?
Yeah, that's okay. It's we'll just have to make it a staple to mention it at the end of every if there's an HHN announcement, we have to mention this guide because we're going to be putting a lot of work into it. I plan to put a lot of work into it.
It's like me. It's like maybe I should actually help out for once.
Oh, you will.
I know. Remember when I used to write articles for the website?
No, I don't. And I'm not being sarcastic. I don't remember.
I mean, I get tied up with all this other with the YouTube and
I don't want to hear it. I have 3 kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what it became. It's like me. It's like my responsibility is mostly YouTube, and I'm the one who probably goes to the parks more than anyone else does. So it's like that's sort of become my part of it is covering all that stuff.
Well, that's where I've always.
I still would like to. I still need to get back to writing an article every once in a while. So
it would be good in the respects of pop culture stuff because we don't have anything. I mean, I occasionally throw up the movie trailer article, but that's about it. I know obviously pop culture is more your thing, but I don't have. I barely have enough time to knock out said theme park articles and so.
Finally get this house behind me completely unpacked. It's like I still haven't set up my drum set. I haven't played drums in over 2 months. I mean, that's weird.
But for like I said, for those of you, what? Let me bring it up here on the live stream. Share stop screen share. Hold on, let me bring it up here 1 second. Share screen. Let me bring this over here. Get rid of you. Give me 1 second here, guys. There we go. This is our Halloween Horror Nights 30 Ultimate Thrill Guide that Emily and myself worked very, very hard on, and it went absolutely. I wasn't expecting the reaction it got on our Facebook page. It got over like 1,200 or something interactions, like likes, angry faces, those things. It went bonkers.
Like, almost over between 200 and 300 shares or some crazy amount. And we froze on my end. Did it freeze on my end?
There we go.
Hello.
You back? My internet's been doing some weird stuff tonight. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, what's up with your amazingly fast internet?
It's fast. It's just being really spotty. I don't know what's going on. My Orbeez having a brain fart or something, but sorry about that. But yeah, this is our HHN 30 Ultimate Thrill Guide. We figured, since we're at Halloween Horror Nights, like Barry said, practically every night just about, we might as well, let me hide this. We might as well take the information that we learned because we see everything, we see a lot going on. We might as well take that information and, share it with everybody. So this is our, we got everything on here. Obviously, a lot of the information on this guide right now is based on HHN 2019. So if you go on here, you're going to see a lot of information about 2019's Halloween Horror Nights, and we will update it as they haven't announced a whole lot about HHN this year. Ticket prices, dates is about the only thing we've gotten, and the Beetlejuice house. That's about the only thing we've gotten. But yeah, we've got everything on here. The scare actor dining experience, the rides and attractions that'll be open. We did a whole area based on Stay and Scream. Look at that crowd. We're slowly getting back to that being the normal.
Yeah, I mean, we'll update it, as we get more information, and we'll update it after the first weekend because then we'll have sort of an idea of your plan of attack for Halloween Horror Nights. So besides the obvious one, which is do Stay and Scream. It's
Daniel says, Daniel, I went in and I fixed our security certificate, the SSL or whatever the heck it's called. It wasn't properly installed, and I called I forgot who our host is for the website, but I called them and they properly installed it. So if you're still getting some sort of error, try clearing your cache or, that sort of thing. I know it says not secure up here. I don't know why it says it on mine. But I'll look at it. I'll look at it again and make sure it was, installed. But yeah, we had this issue a while back. But yeah, no, I see it. I know where it says up here. But anyways, I'll look into it again. I appreciate it. But yeah, we have the food and merchandise. Obviously, we have the tribute store video up from last year. And, we'll have information about scare zones. We do have the information about the Beetlejuice house and, our reaction video about it. And then we got these 3 losers right here. Yeah. And then at the bottom, we have, just information about us where you can follow us and everything because we're at HHN, practically like every night, just about.
Pretty much.
So, and you can actually get to that guide just by visiting thrillgeek.com/HHN. I have a very short URL set up for it. So if you want to access it and you don't want to go to the website and look for it, I'll put it up at the top eventually in a tab at the top of the website. But yeah, you can just go to thrillgeek.com/HHN and it should take you right to the guide. So anyways,
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'm running out of juice here. I'm running out of steam. My voice is killing me, so I'm probably gonna yeah, Jay, I'm curious to see what they do for the tribute store this year. The HHN tribute stores are always, like when we were talking about the Jurassic World tribute store, the HHN tribute stores, they always go that extra step and just make it, really cool. So I'll be curious to see what they do this year. So, all right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning into the live stream and hanging out with us during the podcast and after, just kind of hanging out like this. And please follow us, like the video if you're watching on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the little bell notification. If you guys want to catch our future live streams on YouTube, make sure that's checked so you get notified when we go live. That sounded fantastic.
Sorry.
There is a mute button for your microphone. You know this.
That would require me to there we go.
Do stuff. Yeah. So anyways, guys, good night. Be safe.
Good night.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.